Why did my guidance counselor call CPS when I stayed home during my mom's funeral? The social worker showed up 3 days after we buried my mother. Clipboard in hand. Practiced expression of concern. Looked more like suspicion. My dad answered the door, still wearing the wrinkled dress shirt from funeral service. Eyes hollowed out from 63 hours without sleep. The woman introduced herself as Patricia Lowell, Child Protective Services. She said they'd received a report alleging educational neglect, potential abuse. I'd missed 9 consecutive days of school. No legitimate explanation. My father had been unresponsive to school communications regarding my welfare. Dad just stood there in the doorway, hands still on the knob, mouth opening and closing, like he was trying to find words in a language he'd forgotten. I was sitting on the couch behind him, still in sweatpants, wearing one of Mom's old college hoodies, still smelled faintly like her lavender lotion. I watched this stranger in our living room, explaining she needed to interview me privately to assess whether I was in a safe environment. I'd been a junior at Riverside High for 7 months. Before that, pretty normal kid, decent grades, mostly B's, some A's in English and history, played JV soccer, hung out with same friends since middle school. My parents were both high school teachers. Mom taught English at a different school. Dad taught chemistry at Riverside. They'd been married 19 years, together since college. Stable, boring, functional family. Mom was 43, healthy, active, ran 3 times weekly, did yoga. There was no warning, no signs, no chance to prepare. She had a brain aneurysm on Saturday morning, early March. Dad and I were at my soccer game. She'd stayed home, had papers to grade, mentioned a headache, worse than usual. When we got back at 11:30, we found her on the kitchen floor. Paramedics said she'd been dead at least 2 hours, just gone, first week. After Mom died was a blur. People and casseroles and funeral arrangements. I didn't go to school. Dad didn't go to work. We moved through the house like ghosts, trying to figure out how to exist. The funeral was Thursday, 8 days after she died. Exactly as horrible as you'd imagine. Over 200 people showed up. Mom had taught 17 years, knew half the town. Students from a decade ago came back. Her book club, her running group, parents of kids she'd taught. The church was packed. I sat in the front pew, between Dad and Aunt Julie, who'd flown in from Seattle. I couldn't cry even though I wanted to. Body felt hollow, numb, disconnected. People kept hugging me, saying she's in a better place. At least she didn't suffer. I wanted to scream. After the burial, people came to our house. Reception. Aunt Julie organized it. House filled with quiet conversations, sad smiles, more casseroles than we could possibly eat. My guidance counselor was there, Ms. Brennan. She'd come to the funeral, the reception, hugged me. Take all the time you need. Her voice soft, sympathetic. School will be waiting when you're ready. I went back to school the following Monday, 9 days after Mom died, 4 days after the funeral. Dad went back to work same day. Said sitting at home wasn't bringing her back. Distraction might help. Morning started with awkward condolences from teachers, careful avoidance from students. My friends tried to act normal. Even Owen seemed unsure. Third period, I had to go to guidance office. Quick check-in about makeup work, maybe schedule adjustments. Ms. Brennan's office was in administrative hallway. Small room, motivational posters, college brochures, 2 chairs facing her desk. She greeted me with a thin smile, didn't reach her eyes, gestured to the chair across from her desk. Door closed behind me. Soft click, felt somehow ominous. She started by asking how I was doing. Absurd question given circumstances I said I was managing, trying to catch up on work, taking it day by day. Ms. Brennan nodded, made a note on pad. Then she said she needed to discuss my absences. I'd missed 9 consecutive school days, exceeded district's policy, even in cases of family emergency. She said she understood. Extraordinary circumstances. But school still needed proper documentation. Plan for making up missed work. I told her I'd brought death certificate. Funeral program. Seemed like sufficient documentation. Ms. Brennan examined both documents. Expression I couldn't read. Set them aside. We need to discuss your emotional state. Her tone shifted. Whether you're receiving appropriate support at home. The shift caught me off guard. I said I was seeing a therapist. Starting next week. Dad and I were figuring things out. Aunt Julie had stayed extra days. Ms. Brennan made more notes. Pen scratching across paper. Made my stomach tighten. She asked if my father was coping well. If he was providing adequate supervision. Emotional support. Any concerns about his ability to care for me? The questions felt wrong. Too probing. Too suspicious. I told her Dad was grieving but managing. We were supporting each other. Family and friends helping. Ms. Brennan's expression remained neutral. Was your father home during the days you missed? She leaned forward slightly. Was he supervising you or were you alone? My face got hot. She was implying something darker than grief. I said Dad had been home most of the time. We'd been together planning funeral, dealing with aftermath, constant visitors, constant support. She wrote more notes, looked up at me. That practiced concerned expression. I need to be frank with you. She tapped her pen. 9 consecutive absences without proper communication is a red flag. She paused. Your father, despite being a teacher in this district, didn't submit any absence